Hi, my name's Jason. I'm a business owner, and I give Cash App a 4 out of 5 star rating. For more reviews like this, click below. Before I was using Cash App for my business, I mainly used PayPal, and the big problem with PayPal was that a lot of people really didn't use it anymore. It was kind of thought of as an old thing, as opposed to some of the newer tools out there, which Cash App happens to be. And so more of the people that I deal with on a regular basis were familiar with Cash App and used that in place of things like PayPal. And that is one of the main reasons that I decided to look into Cash App as an alternative. I also like the fact that it's more user friendly. It's easier for people to download than PayPal is in some ways, because PayPal has a couple different apps that you have to use for different things, and Cash App's just one individual app. So that really helps for a lot of people. It makes it less confusing, and that's one of the main reasons. I chose Cash App primarily because I learned about it from someone that I was working with at the time, and I had heard of Cash App previously, but I kind of didn't really give it any thought until this person introduced it to me. And when they did, I realized that it was probably going to be a good option for me, especially a lot of my dealings are with a younger crowd, and the younger crowd tends to go with the newer apps like Cash App, as opposed to, as I had mentioned, PayPal or something like that. And some of the other options that I, considered but didn't really want to go with were things like Zelle, because that seems like it's very restrictive in terms of what the security element of it, where um, you're supposed to, specifically know a person in order to use Zelle. If you don't know that person, it's considered a little sketchy, from what I understand. Uh, and PayPal also is kind of heavy on their charges, their fees, their percentages that they charge you for transactions, as opposed to Cash App, which I, at least personally, have not really experienced any issue with that whatsoever. I also like the fact that Cash App does allow you to have a debit card through them, that you can connect to one of your bank accounts. And being someone who is in the artsy area, I like the fact that you can kind of customize your own card. You you can customize it with like little icons, little images. You can even design your own image, which is what I actually did. I have a design of a camera and a basically a quill for writing, since those are two of the main services I deal with, are writing and photography. And I just like that creative element for Cash App. And those are some of the main features I like about it. The fact that it's also instantaneous. Um, that's really about it. Getting started with Cash App is relatively easy. I, basically download the app on the phone, set up your cash tag, I believe it is called, which is, your username and identity, and then they give you the option to connect it to a debit card. Well, I mean, you do have to connect it to a debit card, but they do allow you to do that in a way that you can actually have your own debit card through Cash App. And I opted to do that because it's extremely convenient. You can use it, for purchases for your business, or any kind of retail purchase that you might apply to uh, to business needs. You know, even if it's not specifically your a business purchase, there's a lot of things you can buy that you will use for your business, and then you have a record as well in Cash App where you can track that for your taxes and that sort of thing. And I've also found that you can use Cash App now with actually with Credit Karma. They have a Cash App tax service, and I used that last year, and that was a great asset for business as well as for personal. Um, and those are some of the major things that really helped. As far as setting it up, really easy, uh, no problems at all, quick setup, and I think it would be something that even people are pretty much novices with the internet shouldn't have too much trouble with. As far as advice for anybody that is looking at the possibility of using Cash App or recommendations, I would definitely suggest that you look and see how many of your client base is using Cash App, what percentage, and chances are it's probably a fairly high percent. And if it's not a fairly high percent, there's probably a pretty good chance they can be talked into using it, uh, because a lot of people seem to be very open to different new and different technologies, and a lot of people have been disillusioned by other payment options out there. So Cash App is definitely one that you should look into as far as your business dealings. And another interesting feature that I would say and recommend with Cash App is that if you get individuals to join Cash App, you can actually get bonuses through doing that. I mean, it's a very small bonus, but it's a nice little bonus, and any bonus you can get through activity is always worth it. So those are a couple of the things that I would say are my advice as to how to go about starting with Cash App, and what I recommend doing with it, as well as uh, the fact that I would definitely recommend considering it as an addition to something like PayPal or Zelle or something like that. Maybe not exclusively, but if you have the more options you have for people to use, the more they'll be open to working with you, because not everybody uses this particular thing or that particular thing. But when you have several different options, it opens up your possibilities of how people can work with you in terms of payments. And the more options you give them, the more chances you're going to be acceptable for them as a business to work with. Now, um, the idea of having 3, 4, 5 different possibilities can really help people. And I personally believe it also looks more professional when you have more options that you offer people. Like if you go into a retail establishment and they say we're cash only, well, that kind of is really rough in today's world. If they say, well, we're cash and credit card, sure, okay. But if they say, well, we also take Cash App, we also take PayPal, we also take Google Pay, or Apple Pay, or whatever, uh, that's going to look a lot better for them. And so I think that would look a lot better for any business when you have several options like that.